Hello, friends. Welcome back to Web Ronak. In today's video, we're going to learn about one of the most important functions in C programming, and that is the scanf function. If you've ever wondered how a C program takes input from the user, like asking for their name, their age, or any number, scanf is the function that makes that happen. So let's break it down step by step. All right, so right here you can see the title, the scanf function. And the subtitle tells us exactly what we're going to cover: how to read input from the user in C using format specifiers and the address of operator. Don't worry if those terms sound confusing right now. We'll explain everything in simple language as we go. Now, let's look at the syntax. Here's how scanf is written in code. Scanf, then inside parentheses, you first put a format specifier in double quotes, then a comma, and then an ampersand followed by the variable name. That's it. That's the basic structure. So what does this actually mean? Let me break it down. Scanf reads input from stdin, which is just a fancy way of saying it reads whatever you type on your keyboard. And it needs two things to work. First, a format specifier. This tells the program what kind of data it should expect. Like, is the user going to type a number, a decimal value, a character? The format specifier handles that. And second, it needs the address of a variable. That's where the data you type will be stored in memory. That little ampersand symbol before the variable name, that's called the address of operator. And it basically says, hey, store the input right here in this spot. Pretty simple so far, right? Now let's move ahead and look at the different format specifiers you can use with scanf.
All right. Now here's the fun part, the common format specifiers. Remember we said scanf needs a format specifier to know what type of data to expect? Well, here's a handy table showing the most commonly used ones. First up, we have %d. This one is for integers, so whole numbers like 10, -3, or 0. Whenever you want the user to enter a simple number with no decimal point, you use %d. Next is %f. This is for float values, which are basically decimal numbers. Think of numbers like 3.14 or -0.5. So anytime you're expecting a number with a decimal point, %f is your go-to. Then we have %c. This one is for a single character, just one letter or symbol, like a capital A or a lowercase z. Not a full word, just one character. After that, there's %s, and this is for strings, which means a sequence of characters, like a word. For example, the word hello. Now, keep in mind, %s will only read up to the first space, so it's good for single words, not full sentences. And finally, %lf. That's a lowercase l followed by an f. This one is for double values. A double is similar to a float, but it can handle much more precision, meaning more digits after the decimal point, like 3.14159265. So when you need extra accuracy, you go with %lf. These 5 format specifiers are the ones you'll use most of the time when working with scanf. Pretty straightforward, right? Now let's move on and see how scanf actually looks in a real example.
All right, now let's look at a real code example to see how scanf works in practice. And we're going to go through it line by line so everything makes sense. So on line 1, we have #include stdio.h. This is a header file that we always include at the top of our C programs. It stands for Standard Input Output, and it's what gives us access to functions like printf and, of course, scanf. On line 3, we have int main with a curly brace. This is our main function. This is where the program starts running. Every C program needs this. Now look at lines 4, 5, and 6. This is where we're declaring our variables. We're basically telling the program, hey, I'm going to need some space in memory to store some data. On line 4, we've declared an integer variable called age. This will hold a whole number, like someone's age. On line 5, we've declared a float variable called height. This one can store a decimal number, perfect for something like height, say 5.8 or 6.1. And on line 6, we've declared a char variable called grade. This will hold just a single character, maybe something like A, B, or C for a student's grade. Notice that right now, these variables are empty. They don't have any values yet. And that's exactly where scanf is going to come in. Let's see what happens next.
All right, Now this is where it gets interesting. Here we can see scanf in action for the first time. On line 8, there's a comment that says reading an integer. So we know this section is about taking a whole number as input from the user. On line 9, we have a printf statement that says enter your age. This is just a message that will show up on the screen when the program runs. It's basically a prompt telling the user, hey, go ahead and type your age. It doesn't take any input itself. It just displays a message. And then on line 10, here's the star of the show, scanf. Let's break this down. Inside the parentheses, the first thing is the format specifier %d in double quotes. Remember from our table, %d means we're expecting an integer, a whole number. And then after the comma, we have and age. That ampersand is the address of operator, and age is the variable we declared earlier. So what this line is saying is, whatever number the user types on the keyboard, grab it and store it inside the variable called age. So the flow is simple. Printf asks the question, and scanf waits for the answer. The user types a number, hits enter, and that value gets saved into age. That's it.
Okay, now we're doing the same thing, but this time with a float value. On line 12, the comment says reading a float. So we know we're about to take a decimal number as input. On line 13, we have another printf statement, and this one says, enter your height in meters. Again, this is just a message prompting the user to type something. It's telling them, hey, give me your height. And on line 14, we have our scanf again. But notice something different this time. The format specifier is %f instead of %d. That's because height is a float variable, remember? It stores decimal numbers. So we use %f to tell scanf, hey, expect a decimal number this time. And then after the comma, we have and height, meaning store whatever the user types into the height variable. So you can see the pattern is exactly the same as before. Printf asks, scanf listens, and stores. The only thing that changes is the format specifier. You pick the one that matches the data type of your variable. %d for integers, %f for floats. Pretty easy to follow, right? Now let's see how we handle taking a single character as input.
Let's look at reading a single character. Same pattern, but there's a small but important detail here that I want you to pay attention to. On line 16, the comment says reading a character, so we know what's coming. On line 17, printf says enter your grade, just a simple prompt asking the user to type in their grade, like A, B, or C. And on line 18, we have our scanf. But look closely at the format specifier. It says space %c. See that little space before the %c? That's not a typo. That's actually really important. There's even a comment in the code that says note the space before %c. So why is that space there? Here's the thing. When you press enter after typing a previous input, that enter key actually leaves behind a hidden character called a new line character. It just sits there in the input buffer. Think of it like a waiting line. Now, when scanf with %c comes along, it's so sensitive that it will pick up that leftover new line character instead of waiting for your actual input, and that would mess things up. So by adding a small space before %c, you're basically telling scanf, hey, ignore any leftover white space or new line characters before reading the actual character. It's a tiny trick, but it saves you from a very common bug. Other than that, everything else is the same. %c stores the character into the grade variable. Now let's move on and see how the program prints all of this data back to the user.
All right, now this is the final part of our program, where we display all the results back to the user. The comment on line 20 says displaying the results, so let's walk through it. On line 21, we have a printf that prints a little header. It says results with some dashes around it, just to make the output look clean and organized. You'll also notice the \n at the beginning and end. Those are just new line characters that add a line break, so things don't look all crammed together. On line 22, we're printing the age. The format is age: %d years. Now notice here we're using printf, not scanf, and this time the %d is being used to display the value stored in the age variable. So whatever number the user typed in earlier, it gets printed right here. On line 23, we're printing the height.
And look at this. Instead of just %f, it says 0.2f. That little 0.2 in between is telling the program only show 2 digits after the decimal point. So instead of printing something like 1.750000, it'll neatly show 1.75. It just makes the output look much cleaner. On line 24, we're printing the grade using %c, which displays the single character that was stored in the grade variable. And finally, on line 26, we have return 0. This just tells the program that everything ran successfully. And on line 27, the closing curly brace wraps up our main function. So that's the complete program. We declared variables, took input using scanf with the right format specifiers, and then printed everything back using printf. Now let's see what the actual output looks like when this program runs.
Now let's see what happens when this program actually runs. This is the output on the terminal, and you can see exactly how everything flows. First, the program prints "enter your age." That was our first printf prompt. And right next to it, the user typed 22. That's scanf doing its job. It waited for the input and stored 22 into the age variable. Then it says "enter your height in meters," and the user typed 1.75. Again, scanf picked that up and stored it into the height variable as a float value. Next, enter your grade, and the user typed A. Scanf with %c grabbed that single character and stored it into the grade variable. And remember that little space trick we talked about before %c? That's why it worked perfectly here. No leftover new line character causing any issues. And then below all of that, you can see the results section. Age, 22 years, height, 1.75 meters, and grade A. Everything got printed back exactly as expected. Notice how the height shows just 2 decimal places? That's because of the %.2f we used in our printf statement. So this is the full cycle. The program asks, the user answers, scanf stores the values, and printf displays them. That's how input and output work together in C. Now, let's wrap things up with some key points to remember and a very common mistake that beginners often make with scanf. All right, before we wrap up, let's quickly go over some key points that you should always keep in mind when using scanf. First, always use the ampersand, the address of operator, before your variable name. Scanf needs the memory address of the variable, so it knows exactly where to store the input. Without it, things will go wrong, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Second, when you're reading a character using %c, remember to add a space before it, like this, space %c. We talked about this earlier. That space skips any leftover new line character sitting in the input buffer from a previous input. It's a small thing, but it prevents a really annoying bug. Third, here's an interesting one. When you're reading a string using %s, you do not need the ampersand. Why? Because in C, the name of a string array already acts as an address by itself, so scanf already knows where to store the data. No ampersand needed. And fourth, scanf actually returns a value. It tells you how many items were successfully read. This can be really useful for error checking, like making sure the user actually entered valid input. Now, let's look at the common mistakes section at the bottom. This one is super important. If you forget to put the ampersand before your variable, your program will have what's called undefined behavior. That means the program might crash or it might give you random garbage values because scanf simply won't know where to store the input. So always remember that ampersand. And that's it, friends. That's everything you need to know to get started with scanf in C. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.